I'm here in Cooper in Fife, and I'm just outside the town cemetery because I want to show you something. Come with me. It's a nice wee cemetery, very ordered and well looked after, but there's a wee grave down here I want you to see. Somewhere down here, I think. We'll find it in a second. There it is over there between these two headstones. Just a wee grave, nothing special. Out of them four graves there, it's the sort of the second smallest there you can see, but it's a grave I think everybody should know about. This one here, this little grave behind me has a little story to tell, because that's the grave of Charles Jarvis VC, the first Scot to win the Victoria Cross during the First World War. Charles Alfred Jarvis was born in Fraserburgh on the 29th of March 1881 in the Admiralty building of Saltern Place. His father, also called Charles Alfred Jarvis, served with HM Coast Guard, and his mother was Mary Jane Blythe. Soon after Charles was born, the family moved to Rattray Head Coast Guard Station, and after 8 years' service, the family moved to North Berwick, where his father received the Royal Humane Society Award for saving the lives of two young boys. In 1894, the family moved down to Carnoustie, just outside Dundee, where Charles finished his education. After his parents passed away, it seemed that the family had moved down to London. Then, in 1899, Charles enlisted into the Royal Engineers at Cheltenham. In 1901, he found himself in Milndam Barracks in Portsmouth. He then served in Singapore for a number of years. After 7 years, he was then placed onto the reservist list. He then found his way back to London, where he worked as a telegraphist in London itself, probably a skill he learnt in the Royal Engineers. Just around the corner though, war was coming. On the 28th of June 1914, Archduke Franz Ferdinand, while on a visit to Serbia, is assassinated. In late July and early August, the major powers of Europe then begin to mobilise. Then on the 3rd of August, Germany declares war on France. The Belgian government, however, refuses permission for Germany to pass through Belgium to the French border. So on the 4th of August, Germany invades Belgium. Britain then protests against the violation of Belgium's neutrality, guaranteed by obviously the Treaty of London. However, Germany calls the treaty just a piece of paper, so Britain, not happy with what Germany said, declares war on Germany. First clash between British and German troops was on the 23rd of August in and around the Belgian town of Mons. And it was here that Charles would make a name for himself along with 4 other soldiers from the BAF. Charles and his fellow Royal Engineers from the 57th Field Company Royal Engineers found themselves as part of the British defence line along the Mons-Cordy Canal. The 57th were given the task of repairing demolition charges on 5 bridges from Ginap Station to Mariette. Charles, now being a Lance Corporal, and along with 3 other men, were given the task of preparing Lock No. 2 bridge for demolition. As Charles and Sapper Neary and the 2 privates from B Company, the Royal Scots Fusiliers, set about their task, they came under enemy fire from the advancing Germans. Using a small boat and held in place by the infantrymen, the 2 sappers fixed 22 gun cotton slabs to the main 3 supports of the bridge. As they worked, the enemy fire intensified, so Jarvis sent the 2 infantrymen back into cover. He then sent Neary to find Corporal Wilkshire, who he thought was at Janap Station Bridge, to collect the exploder. Although under heavy fire, Jarvis completed the work alone, making an occasional dash back to cover to collect more explosives and cables. Jarvis then kept himself down in the boat, pulling himself along to complete the task. He then blew the bridge in the face of the enemy. Lance Corporal Charles Jarvis worked for 1.5 hours under enemy fire, and for his actions on that day he was awarded the Victoria Cross. He was gazetted the award on the 16th of November 1914, and he heard the news of his award while recovering in hospital from wounds. The Victoria Cross was presented to him by King George V on the 13th of January 1915. However, back in that day in August, there were 4 other men alongside him that won the Victoria Cross, and the others were Lieutenant Morris James Dease and Private Sidney Frank Godley, I nearly got the name wrong there for a second, of the Royal Fusiliers, and Corporal Charles Ernest Garforth of the 15th Hussars, and Captain Theodore Wright from the Royal Engineers. However, Charles was the first Scot to be awarded the Victoria Cross in World War I.